Hello everyone and welcome to today's class. I have such a good sequence prepared for you. It's actually a Bernie Clark sequence. So Bernie has a really good sequence planned for you. He is, if you don't know who Bernie Clark is, he is probably the best Yin Yoga teacher on the planet. And he has written a really wonderful book all about yin. So if you're really interested in taking your yin practice to the next level, I'll leave a link in the description of how to find his book. This sequence specifically is all about the spine. So often when we have like a desk job or we're not doing too much really focusing on posture, we tend to curve and round through the spine a lot. This is a great class to work on posture and just feeling better in a general sense. It's amazing how much the spine contributes to our general well-being. And in this specific class, we're going to work the spine through the 6 ranges of motion. So our spine can move through flexion, so that's where we curve and round through the spine, kind of like this, where we want to curl into a little ball. We often do that for lots of different reasons, desk job, all sorts of things. We move into back extension, so spinal extension, where we're lifting up and back, so back bending, otherwise known as heart opening. We can move our spine laterally, so from side to side. And last but not least, we can twist through the spine. So those are the 6 ways that our spine can move through freedom. And we'll go through all of those in this class today. For class today, for our activities today, you may want to have a couple blankets for your supplies today. I always like to have some blocks or cushions, lots of things handy just to help you support some yin classes where you get to be lazy. There's a time and a place to be lazy, and this is it. So blankets, cushy things, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So find yourself in your starting position. There's a few positions we can start in a yoga class. One is a simple cross-legged position. And if it's a bit of a struggle to stay upright for you, find yourself up on a blanket. And if that's not high enough for you, fold the blanket up. Or maybe it's a cushion. The only thing is be sure that your hips are level. So sometimes if you're on too big or too squishy of a cushion, you might feel a little lopsided. So this is why a blanket is good, where it's nice and even. Or maybe it's child's pose. Whatever your starting position is, find it now and take a moment to get settled in and comfortable. From here, close the eyes. This is my second favorite part of class. My first favorite is Shavasana at the end, where you get all the benefits of your class and you feel amazing. And my second favorite time is when you get to set your intention for your practice, set your mood for your practice. So this is what we're doing now. Take your first few moments here to be here. Yoga is really simple, not necessarily easy all the time, but very simple. So just coming here, letting go of anything that you were holding on to before you got here. Any cares or worries. This is your practice. This time is for you. So let everything go that doesn't serve you right now. I know when I do that, I feel a weight lifted. And that's the beginning of feeling wonderful in your yoga practice. Allow yourself to feel that for your first few moments. That lightening, that freedom. And then take the next few moments to set an intention for your practice today. There's so many benefits to yoga. We'll just pick one of them. So maybe that's looking for better sleep at night. Maybe you're looking for more energy during the day. Or what's popular with Yin Yoga is looking for more flexibility in the body. Just picking one of them and holding onto that thought for a few moments. From here, take 3 slow, deep breaths through the nose. And at the top of each inhale, see if you can take an extra sip of air at the top, feeling a gentle stretch in the lungs as you expand. And at the bottom of each exhale, see if you can squeeze out that last puff of air, making room for fresh new air to enter. And keep going. When all 3 deep breaths are complete, take your time and slowly blink the eyes open. And we'll get started in our first posture for the day. So sneaking into butterfly, bring the soles of the feet together and draw them in towards the body. You may need your blocks handy or your pillows or your cushions. If there's anything that is speaking to you in the knees, if the knees are like, I don't feel so super, feel free to place a block beneath the knees. And if they're feeling fine, allow the knees to melt down towards the floor. Another alternative is to make your butterfly more of a diamond shape. Totally allowed. So finding your space, and when you're ready, inhale, lifting up nice and tall. On the exhale, the heart melts forward. So if you're quite tight in the hips, you might be just neutral, perpendicular to the floor, and that's totally okay. If you're actually leaning back a bit, then just prop yourself up on a blanket or a block. And I'll get our timer started here. And if you're feeling a little bit cold or a little bit stiff this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, make sure that your edge, finding your edge, that place where you feel the stretch, but not too much, is very gentle. We don't have to go very far. Once again, we're just looking for our edge. Close the eyes. And allow yourself to melt into the stretch. Yin Yoga is so great because after a few moments, you may find there's more space. And feel free to take the space the body gives you. I find that to be a really important part of our Yin Yoga practice. We want to take what is given to us. We don't want to take what isn't given to us. So when the body says, okay, here's some more space for you, then you can move forward into that. What seems a little bit more intuitive is, well, if I push, then I'll get flexible faster. But that could not be further from the truth. The more gentle you are, and really play that edge, so you want enough of a stretch that you're doing something. But as Bernie says, in every stretch, you start with, well, there's no stretch at all. And then you move along the sliding scale of stretchiness, and there's like a aha moment. That's kind of what we're looking for. You could push past that, but then you'll come up to a uh-oh moment, and then that's when we become injured. So what Bernie says is find that space between aha and uh-oh, right? Somewhere in there. And some days you might find you are feeling stronger, you want to move closer to the uh-oh space, but far enough away that you are still in the aha space. Clear as mud? almost done. See if you can soften those last few moments. And slowly, even if you're very flexible, move nice and slow. Slow, 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 slow. And bring your feet forward. Maybe a couple little knee taps. Feels nice after that. And then just a few windshield wipers. So for this one, bend the knees, feet on the floor. Feet are wider than your knees, maybe mat width. And one knee lowers down towards the floor, making sure we don't feel anything in the knees. We want to really target the hip for a stretch. So hip, stretch, and other side. Other knee moves down towards the floor, targeting the hip, not the knee. And just one more round. One knee moves down towards the floor. It doesn't have to go all the way down to the floor. And other side. And come on out. The next pose is half butterfly. So for this one, especially when you're in your own home, turn whatever way feels comfortable for you. So what we'll do is I'm going to bend my left leg and send my right leg out to the side. It may look reversed for you, but we'll all have our right leg straight, left leg bent in, kind of like butterfly. So again, if you need to support that knee with a block, feel free. Now though, instead of leaning forward like we sometimes do in half butterfly, this one we're going to turn and face the extended leg. I just snuck my foot in because we want to face that leg. Leaning forward, I'm going to start our timer, which is it's right there. Okay, go ahead. And I don't want to overstretch, but I don't want to move too much, so I just bend my knee. Here we go. You may wish to have a block to actually support your head and your arms on. This is a lovely, lovely stretch. If it's not lovely, you're in it too far. So one of the things Bernie talks about is stillness. Stillness is one of the keys to Yin Yoga. And it's one that Carla's not very good at. So that is usually what takes all of my effort in Yin Yoga. Find the stillness after you've found your edge. So you find that spot. Oh, okay, here we go. It's aha, and we hold. What we're trying to avoid is fidgeting, and that's what I tend to do, fidget. So what fidgeting does is it's counterproductive to your stretching. If we're here anyways, time's going by anyways, may as well get the most efficient, effective stretch, right? However, there are two times when you will want to move ever so slightly. The first is if you have stumbled in too far, or if over time your body has said that's enough, then you would back out slowly, just a little bit. Or maybe you need to come out all the way. We're trying not to, we're trying to hold, but you need to be comfortable. The other time where you may need to move is if the body has given you a little extra space so you can go a little bit further. Close the eyes. Usually in Hatha Yoga in our practice, it's important to keep the eyes open. We keep our gaze sort of within, but we do keep the eyes open. In Yin Yoga, we're trying to do something very specific. It's not as much a moving meditation where it's a whole bunch of different elements that we're putting together. Yin is specifically to find mobility in the body. So stillness being one of the most important elements, I find that I fidget when I'm distracted. So if I close my eyes and I really focus on the spaces that are feeling the stretch and I focus on relaxing them. And I almost repeat that to myself like a mantra. Relax in the spaces I'm feeling the stretch. Relax. And I keep bringing myself to that specific goal. That is all I'm doing. It helps a lot. Slower than you think you need to. Slowly, 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 slowly. Come on out. And we'll switch sides. Super gooey slow. So this time the right leg is bent as in butterfly, changing up your blocks or whatever you need to. And then we'll turn to face the left leg and reaching forward, forward. I'll get our timer started once again. I'm facing a totally crazy direction on the yoga mat, but I'm at home, so I can do it. That's my big rebellion. Once again, finding your edge. Once you've found your edge, find stillness, maybe even closing the eyes. Checking in, reminding yourself to soften in the spaces that feel the stretch. Slowly, slowly make your way all the way up. And we'll once again head into those windshield wipers. So one knee moves down towards the floor, really targeting the hip, not the knee. And other side. First side again. And other side. And come on up. Heading into caterpillar. So in this one, sitting up with the feet forward, the only safety information I'll give you for this one is oftentimes people will feel that they need to pull the flesh of the buttocks away. Now that can be very dangerous to the hamstrings tendons. I can explain that more later, but we want to be sure that we're completely on the squish. So sometimes I like to lift up and sit back down again, and it doesn't feel as comfortable. It's true, it feels better when you pull the flesh away so your sit bones feel grounded. Let's move into the stretch in this nice aligned parallel posture, and I'll explain why that's not good for you to do otherwise in just a moment. I'll get our timer started. So sitting up tall and reaching forward, forward, forward. Feel free to close your eyes and I'll just sort of yammer away at you. But, well, you may need to see my demonstration. I'm going to demonstrate with my hands. So if you've seen my Yin Yoga videos before, you've heard this spiel many, many times. But your hamstrings tendons, as illustrated by my hands, are attached to the muscles. Tendons attach the muscle to the bone, right? So if my hamstrings tendons are like this, way back here, what happens if I pull the flesh of the buttocks away, right? Because tendons are attached, everything's attached. So if I pull the flesh away, I'm now drawing the tendons in ever so slightly, a little bit of misalignment. So now when I fold forward, I'm pulling, because there is tension, we're trying to create tension on the, good tension though, on the muscles which pull the tendons. But if the tendons are pulled further away, then we have an imbalance between the tendons and we're pulling too hard on one and not on the other. There's a reason why we have more than one tendon, right? They work in conjunction to create the hamstrings muscles. And we just really want all of our poses to be anatomically in good alignment for good biomechanics, right? Our body was built, actually it's quite amazing. When you think about the structure of the human body, it's astounding and amazing. And we tend to only get injured if something is not aligned properly or there's too much force. If a muscle is healthy and tendons are happy and they're healthy and they're in good alignment and we are playing the edge but not pushing past it, we remain free from injury. Okay? So softening and melting just like all the other stretches. Relax into it, even soften through the neck. So this is different from Hatha yoga where you're lengthening. This one you can relax completely. slowly, slowly start to come up. And from here, heading into table pose. So leaning back onto the hands, fingers pointing towards the feet, and then lifting the hips up high to the sky. If your body is okay with this, if you're like, no, I don't want to, you can do table, seated with the hips on the floor, lifting up through the heart. If your hips come up off the floor, great. So just table for just a few moments. If it feels okay on your neck and you have a healthy spine, it's completely safe to allow the head to lean back. We're not there long, slowly come on out. From here, we'll flip over onto our belly. So we just completed a few exercises where we are creating flexion in the spine. Now we'll create a little extension. Moving into Sphinx pose. So laying on the belly and popping up onto the forearms. I'll get our timer started. This is the whole pose. Leaning up on the forearms. That's it. Softening through the spine. So we want to, well, the low back likes to take all the flexibility. Our low backs are just generally more flexible, and that's fine. But we're trying to, I wonder if you can see at this angle. I'll just go like this, you can see. So the low back likes to just sort of hairpin there, but what we're trying to do is get a curve through the whole spine. Can you see that? My ribs move towards the floor, and that's the real heart opening pose. So let's get back around here. Thinking about the heart melting forward and the ribs down to the floor. And holding here. If you're quite flexible in the spine and you're like, this doesn't do anything though, then feel free to move up into seal. So kind of a baby seal is just to keep the hands where they were and then straighten through the arms. If you're a little bit more flexible, you can bring the hands back a bit more. Okay, but the same things apply. Try to reach the heart forward. Okay, so do feel free to close through the eyes. This one is a little bit different than some of the other yin postures because in most of the other ones that we've done so far, it's completely possible to totally relax the whole body. In this one, you need to keep your arms strong, right? So instead of just thinking soften in the spaces that feel the stretch, soften in the spaces that feel the stretch, what I think in this one is like a mantra, like a broken record. Strong arms, back is soft. Strong arms, back is soft. We're literally doing two different movements in two different places in the body. And that can be a little bit challenging, right? Strength everywhere or loose everywhere is easier to do, but we're trying to keep the arms strong to prop us up, but the back is soft. If you feel it's okay on the neck, feel free to look up for a bit. But again, this is kind of a bit of a strength posture. There are postures where you are in spinal extension, which means back bend. And if you let the head fall back, it's a natural extension of the whole spine. For this one, because of gravity, it's actually using strength. But that's not a bad thing too. As long as you're thinking long in the neck and not crunching in it, feel free to add that in. It's hard to hold that for a long period of time though. All right, itchy nose. But you could kind of oscillate. Neck is straight, and then once in a while, lifting up to the chin. Or just hold. Thinking about the heart melting forward, melting forward, melting forward. You may feel the stretch. I think I actually have a piece of hair tickling my nose. Okay, that's like the ultimate in concentration. What was I saying? Oh yeah, you may feel the stretch in your back. You also might feel it in your tummy because we are stretching those muscles as well. Bonus. to come out. Move slowly. So engage like as in cobra, and then keep the back muscles engaged as you slowly release the arms. From here, stack your hands and let's put our right cheek on the hands and our left knee goes up to the side on the floor. So foot and knee on the floor, but the knee moves up towards the elbow. Just a few moments here. You'll notice how that softens through the back. It releases through the back. And then return the legs beside each other. Round 2. Come on up to Sphinx. If that was enough of a stretch for you, just repeat. Or if you were looking for a greater stretch, come up to Seal. I'll get our timer started though. Or if last time you did Seal and you're thinking, okay, but now it feels like I have no stretch, but it did before, then maybe you're ready to progress to Seal. So once again, finding wherever works best for you. And also again, remember you're finding your edge, not pushing past it. So gentle stretch and then hold. Strong through the arms, soft through the back. The other thing that this does, which I love, is we are compressing the spine. It's interesting because most people don't like that word. It feels like a word that's not good, but sometimes compression is good. So what happens when you compress the spine, like you're actually trying to fold bone on bone backward, what happens with bone, if there's pressure, is it gains density. That makes the bone stronger. Now, if you were to repeatedly go up into cobra, and kind of smash the bones together repeatedly, that does not create strength in the bone. But a sustained hold in gentle compression will, over time, build bone density. So we're building bone density in the back and also in the arms right now and in the wrists. Having said that, the key is not to grin and bear it. If you need to come out for a little bit, feel free to do so, because when we're doing 2 rounds of this, the arms tend to fatigue. If you have quite strong arms, just hold. If you're like, I'd love to do that, but I need out, no problem. Take a little break. As long as you're not coming up and down and up and down and up and down 100 times, you'll be fine. Right? A couple of sustained holds is still going to be good for you. Almost done. So once again, strengthen the posture slowly, slowly. Use and engage the back muscles as the arms gently, gently lower you. And then stack the arms again, just like last time. And this time it's the right knee that goes out to the side. So left cheek, right knee, looking towards the knee that's coming up towards the elbow. And slowly come on up. Let's head up and back to a child's pose from here. Just a few moments. I've got this bruise on my finger from last night, but I didn't do anything. And it happens from time to time. Does anyone else have this? I've got like one finger, one little spot, where once in a while, it's like the blood vessels go, I just can't live anymore. And then they just decide to bruise for no reason. And I don't understand it. Anyways, we were child's posing just for a moment. And come on up. All right. So me and my weird finger are going to go head into a pose called Banana Asana. So it's like a banana pose. What we do is we lay all the way onto our backs. So we lay back. I get my timer close by. Laying all the way back. And then clasping your arms above head on the floor. So clasping elbows if that's accessible, or wrists or hands. Or maybe they don't touch, depending on your shoulder flexibility. And then we'll step the feet and the elbows over to the right side. So both go to the right side. So the hips will stay exactly where they are. The hips are glued to the earth and the feet will walk over. So my heels are just sort of walking over as far as they'll go. And then so will my shoulders, my elbows. And I'm going to the point where I feel a nice, gentle stretch through my left side body. Same thing again, you can close the eyes. This is one of the nicest stretches where you can really soften into it. But do be aware of when your body gives you more space. This one, it's one of those ones where you tend to lose the stretch because your body gets more flexible and we forget to go a little more because we're like, this is nice, and then we almost fall asleep. So do remember that you can walk your elbows and shoulders and then the heels a little bit more as the body gives you space. And then relaxing into it each time. To come out, slowly, slowly walk the heels back and the shoulders. And we'll square everything up. And between sides, hug the knees in, gently rocking from side to side. And we'll prepare for the other side. So laying back once again, arms overhead. And then walk those feet over to the left and the shoulders too, but keep the hips glued to the earth. And close the eyes. Remember to take more as the body gives you more space, but only when the body gives you more space. Checking in to see if the body is giving you a little more space. To come out, slowly, slowly, squaring everything up. Bring the feet and the shoulders back to neutral. Hug the knees in. And this time, let's do some circles with the knees. So just circling the knees one direction. And then the other direction. And from here, we'll head into a one knee twist. So we'll extend the left leg, hug the right knee in. Now we want to have our spine in a nice neutral position when we twist, so you may wish to bend the knee of the supporting leg and shift the hips over to the right. Then send the knee over to the left, arms in a T position, palms facing down, and then extend the bottom leg. I'll get our timer started. Be sure that right shoulder is in fact on the floor. If you're looking for a greater stretch, feel free to head into twisted roots, which is just tucking that left knee up on the inside of the right leg. If it's okay on the neck, looking over the right shoulder. To come out, scoop the belly in, press the low back into the floor, and square everything up. We'll hug our knees in between sides. Maybe even a few circles with the knees. And the other way. And then we'll head into the other side. So hugging the left knee in, hips shift over to the left, and then we send the left knee over to the right as we send the arms to a T position. And you can extend that right leg down if you're looking for that greater stretch. Tuck that right knee underneath so that you're in a twisted roots position. Maybe looking over the left shoulder. And softening into it. And to come out, scoop the belly in. Really, really slow. That was a nice long hold. So just moving slowly, slowly. As you come out, squaring everything up. And when you feel ready, hugging those knees in. Maybe a few little knee circles one way. A few little knee circles the other way. And then one last time, hugging your knees in, like nice and tight, nice big squeeze. Really feeling the back release. Squeeze just a little more, but relax through the hips and the back. And release. From here, we're ready for Shavasana. So if you wanted to put some socks on or a sweater, I sure do, then feel free. And when you're ready, laying all the way back onto your backs. Since we did a lot of back motion today, you may feel that in your Shavasana, you'd like that extra support of your back. And to do that, bend the knees with the feet on the floor and let the knees tip in towards each other as you're laying down. If your back feels fine, however, then heading into just regular Shavasana, extending the legs and the arms along your sides, palms facing up, and closing the eyes. Softening everything, but especially through the neck and the shoulders and all the way down the arms. Letting the fingers softly curl. Softening through the face. Softening around the eyes. And even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go. And starting to come back. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And gently roll your head from side to side. Reaching your arms above head on the floor. Give yourself a big stretch. Feeling totally refreshed. Bending your knees in one at a time. Gently roll over to the right side and pause there for a moment. As you come back, and slowly press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position, taking all the time you need. When you arrive, palms facing up on the knees. Inhale, sitting up tall. Exhale, softly close the eyes. Taking those final moments to reflect on your intention for your practice today. Knowing that you're one step closer to your goals. And we'll take another silent little thought for someone who might need it today. A little well wish for them. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. And of course, thanks to Bernie Clark for providing the sequence today. I'll see you next time. Namaste.